Continue now at the top of Daf Yud Tes Amud Beis of Meseches Eruvin. This is Eruvin Daf 19b. The Brisa just stated that according to Rabbi Meir, the width of each cattle is going to be 1 amma and 2/3 amma, and you're supposed to place a maximum of 6 cattle between each of the diyumdin that are surrounding the be'er. And so the Brisa says, Shehein ke'eser divrei Rabbi Meir, that comes out to 10 amos. If you have 6 cattle, 1 and 2/3 amma each, that comes out to 10 amos total. Rashi says, Shein ke'eser amos shisha bakar. 6 cattle works out to 10 amos. L'kamon parich mai ke'eser ha'eser mechuvanosein. The Gemara later will ask, what do you mean it's like 10 amos? It's actually exactly 10 amos. Again, if you have 6 cattle, so that's 6 amos right there. And then 2/3 times 6 is going to be 4 more amos. That's exactly 10 amos. Rabbi Yehuda says, Keshlosh esrei amma. So Rabbi Yehuda says that it works out to 13 or 14 amos. Rashi explains, Kiyod Gimel v'Yodalit Shmona Bakar. Again, Rabbi Yehuda held that it's 8 cattle. Yatsu Michlal Shlosh Esrei. It's going to be a little more than 13 amos. But Lechlal Yodalit Lobo, but it's not going to yet be 14 amos. To Yud Gimel Amma Ushlishain, the total is actually going to be 13 1/3 amos, according to Rabbi Yehuda. So the Gemara asks, Ke'eser ha'eser havin. What are you saying? It's like 10. It's exactly 10. Gemara says, Mishum debai lemis neseifa, because since at the end of the Brisa we're going to say, Kishlosh esrei, like 13, Kishlosh esrei tfei havyan. It's like 13, it's really a little more. Mishum debai lemisni ka'arba esrei, because we're going to say it's like 14. U'cha'arba esrei halo havya, and it's not going to be exactly 14. So since we have that language at the end of the Brisa, where it's like 13, like 14, the idea being that it's between 13 and 14, we use a similar language when we talk about 10 amos. Amar Papa says, Yeseros al Shlosh Esrei, the meaning is, it's more than 13 amos, ve'ein magios la'arba esrei, but it doesn't really reach 14 amos, as we said. Amar Papa says, Bebor shmona dekoli amalo pligi delo ba'inam shutin. When it comes to a boar that is 8, everybody agrees you don't need pshutin. Bebor shteim esrei dekoli amalo pligi de ba'inam shutin. And if it's a boar of 12, everybody agrees that you do need pshutin. Rashi here explains. But bor rach of shmona, let's say you have a pit that is 8 amos wide. Afilu Rabbi Meir lo ba'inan pshutin. Even according to Rabbi Meir, you're not going to need any extra boards of wood to place around the board. There was a machlokas in the Mishnah whether you need to add pshutin or not. So the Gemara here is explaining, everybody agrees that if it's 8 amos, even according to Rabbi Meir, you're not going to need. Even according to Rabbi Meir, who only allows 10 amos between them, it's going to be fine. Because if you set it far from the boar by 2 amos in every direction, which is the head and the majority of the body of the cattle, so it comes out that if you do the math, you have 12 amos between the different walls. V'hapasin ruach v'nama. Now the panels themselves are nama wide l'chol ruach zeh keneged zeh on each side. Nimtza bein pas lepas shir pesach eser amos. It comes out that you have only 10 amos between them. Rabbi Meir would say that's fine. In other words, if you have a boar that is 8 amos wide, and then you separate another 2 amos on each side, so that's going to be a total of 8 plus 4, which is 12 amos. And the panels themselves that you're putting up are each an amos, that you subtract 2 amos, you have exactly 10 amos. Meaning, in such a situation of a board that it's 8 amos wide, you are not going to need any extra panels. You can just have the 4 L-shaped panels, and that's going to be fine, even according to Rabbi Meir. And then it said by a 12 amma board, everybody agrees you need it. Rashi explains. But board shtei mesri dechimarchik shtei amos mikan uchenegdam mikan. Now, if you have a board that is 12 amos wide, then you add another 4 amos, that's 14. If you have 12 amos plus another 4 amos, that's 16. Yesh chalal hamechitza yud vav amma. It's going to come up to 16 amos. Again, 12 amma wide board, and another 2 amos on each side is plus 4 amos, 12 plus 4. Umehen shtei amos omed. Now you take away the 2 amos of the panels themselves. Hare bein zeh lo zeh yud daled parts. You're going to have 14 amos open in this case. V'chuli hai lo shari Rabbi Yehuda. And even Rabbi Yehuda doesn't allow 14. As we said, Rabbi Yehuda said the maximum is 13 1/3. Uvinam pshutin l'chol tzad. And you're going to need to add a straight panel somewhere there in the middle to be called tzad b'tzad equal yud daled amos, because on every side you have a space of 14 amos, which is a problem. Now, the Gemara later will explain where do you put these extra panels, where do they go, but the point is everybody agrees to the everybody agrees in these particular cases Either if it's 8 amos wide that you don't need extra panels, if it's 12 amos wide, everyone agrees you do need extra panels. Kipligi mishmona shtei mesrei. The whole machlokas, Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda in the Mishnah, is specifically in a case where you have a bore which is between 8 and 12 amos. Rabbi Meir b'inam shut, and according to Rabbi Meir, you now have a space of more than 10 amos, you're going to need to add some panels. Rabbi Yehuda lo b'inam shut, and according to Rabbi Yehuda, in this case, you're not going to need to add any panels. Gemara says, what is Rav Papa even teaching us? Tanina, this really is the Mishnah. Rashi says, Tanina l'Rav Papa b'masnisan. This is exactly what the Mishnah says. What is Rav Papa adding? To Katani l'Rabbi Meir shisha bakar, u'Rabbi Yehuda shmona bakar. It says in the Mishnah, according to Rabbi Meir, the maximum distance between the diyumdin is 6 cattle, and according to Rabbi Yehuda, the maximum distance is 8 cattle. From there, we can determine that Rabbi Meir allows a maximum of 10 amos between the diyumdin, and Rabbi Yehuda allows a maximum of 13 1/3. Come on, of course, it's obvious that Rabbi Meir is only going to require extra panels, straight panels, when it's more than 10 amos. So what's the chiddush? So the Gemara says, Rav Papa brisa lo shmi alei v'kamash l'an kebrisa. Rav Papa did not hear the brisa, and that's really the chiddush which he's telling us. Rashi says, Rav Papa hach brisa detana shiura de ove haparos lo shmi alei. We don't know exactly how thick these cattle are. It just says 6 cattle, 8 cattle. The brisa is the one that gave us the shiurim. Of masisin lo parish lo, it's not in the Mishnah. Va'asar Rav Papa lefrushay loch masisin de shiur Rav Meir eser amos, or Rav Yehuda shlosh eser amos shlish. Comes along Rav Papa and tells us, oh, by the way, if you do the math, in the Mishnah, Rabbi Meir is going to be 10 amos, Rabbi Yehuda is going to be 13 1/3. The point is, Rav Papa on his own came to the same conclusion as the Brisa itself did. The Gemara continues at the 2 dots. Again, another mnemonic to remember the upcoming. The Gemara says, Boy minei Abaye me Rabba. Abaye asks Rabba the following question: Herich b'diyumdin kishir pshutin Rabbi Meir mahu. According to Rabbi Meir, let's say instead of adding pshutin, you just decide to make longer diyumdin. You make longer L-shaped corner walls. Is that going to work? Amar Lei said to him, Tani Sua. So Rabbi said it's already been taught. Uvilvad sheyarbe bepasin. It says you should increase with pasin. My lav the marach b'diyumdin. That implies that you're lengthening the diyumdin. Yarbe bepasin. So the Gemara says, no, it might not mean that. The mapish v'yavid pshutin. Maybe it just means you're going to increase by making some straight panels, by adding some straight panels. The Gemara says, Yachi, if that was what it meant, Hayu v'lvad sheyarbe bepasin, at sheyarbe pasin miboyle. Why have the bays? Why say yarbe bepasin, increase with the pasin? You should just say increase pasin, add some panels. Gemara says, Tani at sheyarbe pasin. You're right. You can learn the instead have it say sheyarbe pasin. Take out the base. Ika diamri, some people had a different version of this discussion. Amar Lei, he said to him, Tani Sua, it's already been taught. Uvilvad sheyarbe bepasin. Again, it says to increase with panels. My lav de mapish v'yavid pshutin. Doesn't it mean to add panels? Lo de marach b'diyumdin. No, maybe it means just lengthen the diyumdin. Hachinam mistabra, and this is logical. Midiktani uvilvad sheyarbe bepasin shmamina. Again, from the letter base, it would seem like you are being marach. You're just adding onto the diyumdin. And the Gemara continues with a similar question. Boy minei Abaye me Rav, Abaye es Rav, the following question. Yoser mishlosh esrei amos shlish lo Rabbi Yehuda mao. This time the question is according to Rabbi Yehuda. If the distance between the diyumdin is more than 13 1/3 amos, what is the halacha pshutin avido b'diyumdin marich? Do you add straight panels or do you just lengthen the L-shaped diyumdin? Amar Lei Tani Sua, he said we learned it in Tosefta. Kamahin mekuravin. How close can the diyumdin be to the be'er kadei rosha v'ruba shel para? They have to leave enough space that a para can have its head and the majority of its body within the area. V'kama meruchakin, and how far can the diyumdin be from the be'er? Afilu kor, afilu kurayim. It could be even a kor away, a kurayim away. Rabbi Yehuda Omer beis hasayim mutar yos min beis hasayim aser. Rabbi Yehuda says it could be 2 saw away, but it can't be more than that. Amru lo Rabbi Yehuda. They said to Rabbi Yehuda, Yat amod bedir v'saru muksa v'chatzer afilu bas chameshes kurim v'afilu bas asara kurim shemutar. Don't you admit by these various kinds of enclosures, it can be as large as you want, 5 core, 10 core, doesn't matter. Amar Lani said to them, Zu mechitza. That's true because that's a real mechitza. That's a real wall. V'elu pasin. And here you're using pasin. So the Gemara says, V'im isa, now if it is true, Zu mechitza v'zu mechitza miboyle. They should both be called mechitzas. Rashi here explains, Zu mechitza shleima here. Rabbi Yehuda says this is a real full mechitza. V'elu pasin, and here you have panels. Uvein kol echad v'echad 13 amos. Between each one, you have about 13 amos. Vein omed el pas amma bein kol 13. You're only going to have a little pass of an amma between every space of 13 amos. So of course, we're going to have to be a little more strict in this situation. But the point is, Alma Rabbi Yehuda pshutin of it. Now you see, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that what are you doing? You must be adding in straight panels in between each space of 13 amas. Because think about it. If you would have the yumdan be so long all the way so that there's not a space of 13 amos, so that it makes the space 13 amos or less, or 13 and a third amos or less, you're going to have real walls over there. You're extending the diyumdan quite a bit. If you have a large area, that really is wall. So that's why the Gemara is saying, if you're extending the diyumdan, they're all mechitzas. So the Gemara says, no, this is what it could be. He means, Hachikam, here's what he means. Zu Toras mechitzas aleh upirtzoseh be'eser. In the classic case, you have real mechitzos, and the largest gap you're ever going to have is 10 amos, because more than 10 amos is already a pirza. V'elu Toras pasin aleim, but over here you're using the halachos of pasin, upirtzosein b'shlosh esrei amos shlish, and what's considered a pirza is 13 and a third amos, so that's what Rabbi Yehuda meant to say. That's why in that case we place a limit of a beis asayim. Gemara says, "Boy minei Abaye me Rabba, Abaye as Rabba." Different question. Tel hamislaket asora mitoch arba. Let's say you have a mound that is 10 tvachim high within 4 amos, 4 by 4 amos. Nidor mishum diyumad, oeno nidor mishum diyumad. Can you say that counts as a diyumad? The idea over here is you have like 4 hills around the be'er. Now, in theory, if you carved those hills, you can make 4 diyumdan, 4 L-shaped diyumdan that can be the proper size. So would that work or not? Amar Lei said Tanisua, we learned it in a brayser. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says, Hoisa sham even mirubas. If there was a square stone there, rowan kol shilo techolik. So we apply rowan as if we look as though halachically as though it was already carved out. If you could in theory carve this stone that you would have an am in each direction, nidon mishum diyumad, you can count this stone as a diyumad. If not, you can't count it as a diyumad. Rabbi Yishmael ben Oshel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka Omer, Rabbi Yishmael, the son of Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, says, Haisa sham even agula. If you have a round stone, rowan kol shilu techokek v'techolek. If again you look at it, if you can carve it out and smooth it out, v'yeshba amalakan v'amalakan, and it would have an am in each direction, nidon misham diyumad, then it can count as a diyumad. V'yimlav eino nidon misham diyumad. If not, it cannot be considered a diyumad. And again, the point is that it seems from this brisa that you are allowed to apply rowan. So here also, by the tail hamislaket, by the mount, you can apply rowan. The Gemara just wants to know, but my kamiflagi. Well, what is the machlokas between Rabbi Yishmael ben Oshel and Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka and Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar? One is talking about a square stone that you're carving. The other one is talking about a round stone. So the Gemara says, Mar savar chad rowan amrin on trey rowan lo amrin. In the first opinion, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says we can do 1 rowan. If it's already square, you just need to carve it out to 1 by 1 amma. That you can do. But you can't do 2 rowans. You can't take a round stone and not only carve it 1 by 1, but you've got to flatten out the sides. But Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Shmuel ben Oshel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka says you can even do 2 rowan, and that's fine as well. Rashi here explains, Mirubas, if it's square, amma al amma, it's 1 amma by 1 amma, all you need to do is smooth it out. Meaning take away the thickness there in between so that it's a 1 by 1 panel, L-shaped panel. It will look like a gutter, a wall on each side. Agula, but if it's round, there you also need to do some carving. Velito, blita, so the part that sticks out that's round. You got to make everything the middle even to the corners. Make it a square. You're missing this smoothing out. So the whole machlokas was, do you do that as well? Amrina nami trey rowan Rabbi Yishmael. According to Rabbi Yishmael, you could do 2 rowan v'tel nami kevin agula dami. What's going to come out of this is that Rabbi Yishmael, ben Oshel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, he's going to say by a round stone you can do 2 rowans, and the same thing by a mound, he'll allow it. L'tanakama lo amrina trey rowan. According to the Tanakama, okay, so we allow it by a square stone, but to the original question that we had, if you have a mound, a hill, that's not going to be allowed because that requires 2 rowan. Gemara has another question from Abaye. Boy minei Abaye me Rabba. Abaye asks Rabba the following question: Chitzas hakonim. Let's say you have a mechitza that's made out of reeds, out of branches. Kona pachos mishlosha. And each reed is within 3 tvachim of the other, so you can apply lavud. Nidon mishum diyumid olav. Are you allowed to do? Does that count as diyumdin or not? Now, this was a question that was already mentioned earlier on Daf Tesvav Amud Aleph. They noted that this question would be asked here. So he asked him this question. Amar Lei said to him, Tanisu, again, we learned it in a brisa. Hayasham ilon o geder o chitzas hakonim. If you have a tree or a fence, or again, this is mechitza made out of branches, nidon mishum diyumid, it says that it is considered a diyumid. So the Gemara says, my lav, is it not kana kana pachas mishlosha? When it says chitzas hakonim, doesn't it mean exactly this case? You have a bunch of branches within 3 tvachim of each other, and you're applying lovad, and it counts as a diyumid. And the Gemara says, lo gudrisa dekani. What it really refers to over there might not be using lovad, but it might be referring to gudrisa dekani. Rashi here explains, first of all, chitzas hakonim, chitzas konim shasol lekan ulekan ke'ein diyumid. Again, you make this mechitza of konim that look like a diyumid, and then the answer was maybe over there in Meseches Sukkah in that brisa gudrisa dekani. It was really a case of gudrisa dekani konim mechubarim harbe beitz echad samach la'aretz. You have a bunch of konim that are actually attached one to the other near the ground. And they divide up as they go up. They divide from one another, but they're completely attached. You're not using lovad at all. That is possible that that's what that means. But so the Gemara says to that, if so, hainu ilan, isn't that the exact same case as a tree? What's the difference between the two cases? So the Gemara says, v'elamai kana kana pachos mishlosha hainu geder. Well, if you have a bunch of kanas, a bunch of branches within 3 tvachim of each other, that's just another kind of fence. What's the difference between that and a geder? The case over here had an elon, a geder, and a chitzas hakonim. Elamai is loch l'meimar, trei gavne geder. What are you going to answer? There's different kinds of fences. There's 2 kinds of fences. Hachanami trei gavne elon. So to over here, it could be there's 2 kinds of trees. It's not really a kasha. Rashi over here says, trei gavne elon ashminon elon shalem. We teach a full tree. The ikol l'meimar yecholek v'yechakek. The issue over there is you got to carve it out, you got to smooth it out. And then we have another case of Elon, which is this case where on the bottom all of these branches are together, and that works. But we don't have any situation of kane kane pachos migimel that you don't necessarily have a proof. Ikodi there are those that have another version of this whole discussion between Abai and Rabbah as follows. Gudrisa dekani kami boile. The question actually originally was by a Gudrisa dekani, by this wall of branches. Gudrisa dekani mai, what's the halacha? Amar le, so this time Rabbah said Tanisu, again we learned it in a brisa, Yasham Geder o Elon o Chitzas hakonim neither mishum diyumid. Same brisa which has the case of Geder, Elon, and Chitzas hakonim. And this time he infers my lav Gudrisa dekani. Is it not, when it says chitzas hakonim, doesn't it mean gudrisa dekani? Doesn't it mean this fence of branches? And the Gemara says, no. Maybe it means kana kana pachos mishlosha. It means you have a bunch of reeds all within 3 tvachim of each other. Gemara says, Yihachi hainu geder. Isn't that the same? If so, isn't that the same as a fence? So Gemara says, V'elamai gudrisa dekani. What are you going to say? It's gudrisa dekani hainu elon. Isn't that the same as a tree? Elamai is lach l'meimar. What do you have to respond? Rashi says, my lav gudrisa dekani. Is it not talking about this fence of reeds, of branches? Ushmami none comes to teach us the afagav dein ovyav dalid begova asora amrin on rowan, that even though it's not this fence of reeds is not 4 thick all the way up to 10 tvachim high, we still say rowan. There's a little bit of a dispute exactly whether this should be dalid or shlosha or sheish, but the point is that it's not all together all the way up, and we're still able to carve out the diyumdin in this case to make it the appropriate size. And the Gemara says, no, kana kana pachas migimel. Again, maybe the case of chitzas hakonim really is a bunch of reeds within 3 tvachim of each other. To asli kediyumid mamish, that is mamish made in the shape of a diyumid. Uvelo rowan ikatikon malyan, you can do it without rowan. And so the point would be that you don't necessarily have a proof to gudrisa dekani from this brisa. We'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Chaf Amud Aleph.